Welcome everyone, and today we are going to talk about the illusion of time. So time is one of the concepts that have really intrigued a lot of intelligent minds. People have wondered, how does time work? Is there a possibility for us to be able to go back in time? Is there a possibility for us to go in the future? How does time actually works? And for most people, they believe that time is linear, meaning that time works on a straight path. We move in time, but that is nothing more but an illusion. But at the end of this video, I will explain to you the concept of time and how you can use time to your advantage and not as a disadvantage unto you. So let us begin with the video of the day. So with time, I'll talk about time and space. So time and space are concepts that only apply on the material world. So when I say the material world, I mean the world that you perceive with your physical eyes, the world that you perceive with your five physical senses, the senses of sight, smell, touch, taste, feel, so on and so forth. So most people perceive life or experience their life using their five physical senses, and that is what makes up the material world, or what we call the matrix. So the matrix is the material world, but time and space are only concepts on this physical world. When you deal with higher dimensions such as the 4D, the 5D, time is not a concept, because time is not linear, time is cyclical. That is why events that happened in the past also happen in the future. So there is nothing new under the sun, as the Bible also says. Time is cyclical, it is not linear. That is why events always recur. It's like a recurrence, it's a cyclical kind of thing. Okay? And the only thing which separates you from your desired reality is not time, is not effort, it is just frequency. The reason why you are experiencing something at this specific time, it's only because of your state of frequency. The kind of frequency you are embodying at this present moment determines what you experience at this present moment. Also, let's talk about the concept of parallel or multiple realities. So this is a concept coined by many quantum physicist scientists, and they stated that we have what we call parallel universes, meaning that at this present moment there are existing parallel versions of you. So right now there is a version of you that is old. Right now there is a version of you that is young. Right now there is a version of you that is poor. There is a version of you that is sick. There is a version of you that actually experiences everything which your mind can perceive of. So anything which your mind can imagine is an actual existing parallel universe that you're experiencing. And the reason why you are experiencing a specific event and not the other is nothing more than your own state of consciousness. So let me give you an example. So there are two people who are going or are living in the same environment, right? So one of them perceives the world as a place of lack, as a place of whereby things are never enough for everyone. So this person believes that in order for them to change their life, they have to work so hard. And that is a good thing. Working hard can take you to where you want to be, but it will take you there through what we call effort and struggling. But eventually, you will get there. Remember, all roads lead to heaven, but it depends on which vessel you want to take. Or rather, all roads will take you to where you want to be. The only difference is the vessel that you want to be. I might decide to walk to the destination. I'll get there. The time might be long. I'll be more fatigued, but I'll still get there. You might take a train, you might take a horse, you might take a car, you might take whatever you want to take, but you will get there. So when you think that working hard is the only way to make it, it will be true. You will make it, but through what? Pain and suffering. Okay? But that is not the ideal way of achieving what you want. You might now use the most desirable way. Instead of going through hard work, you go through what you call aligned work. Aligned work is whereby you tune you tune into the frequency of whoever you wish or want to become, and then from that state, you work based on that state. Now, the person who believes on only hard work is doing the hard work because their frequency has not changed. They still believe that they are incapable. They still believe that they are poor. And if you still believe you are poor and you accept the fact that you are poor, then even if you land a 1 million jackpot today, you will still end back to whereby you begin. That is why you see a lot of people, they win sport pesa jackpots, they win lotteries. But then after a few months, these people are dead broke. What's the problem? The problem is you can never cheat the universe because the universe will always put you back to your state of consciousness. The universe will always reflect to you externally what you are within. So before you can even go about doing the work, you've first got to tune into the frequency. And when I say frequency, I actually mean the identity of what you want to be. So before you go to work, tune into the identity of abundance. And the identity of abundance is what we call the God frequency. Because when the universe was created, it was not created from the point of lack. There is no such thing as lack. Lack is just a concept, an idea sold to us by the systems in order for us to be controlled mentally. Okay, so when you tune into the state of the wish being fulfilled, you will then take the necessary actions that will take you to where you want to be. That is why the person who sets goals, the person who journals, the person who does the internal work will always experience a more richer, a more harmonizing life than the person who does none of those things. And the other mistake that people have been lied to is we tend to seek identity, we tend to seek who we are from external things. That is why we have people who believe that when they get that one thing, they will be happy. When they attain a certain position, they will be happy. But the truth is, you can never be fulfilled by the external. True fulfillment comes from within. That is why the richest and the most wisest person who ever walked on earth, King Solomon, came to a specific humble conclusion. Everything is vanity. By saying everything is vanity, he did not mean that you should not look for anything. You should just stay put. He meant that when you now try to extrapolate your happiness, your sense of self from fleeting things, that is where the vanity comes in, because the objective world, the material world, is subject to the principle or the law of rhythm. Nothing stays permanent. There is what we call the law of permanence. There is the law of rhythm. There is night, there is day. There is a time whereby you will be young. There's a time whereby you will be old. So nothing material can last forever. It will always come to an end. And that is where the vanity comes in. So when you become attached to something which is fleeting, such as beauty, such as money, such as fame, the moment you lose those things, you will lose your sense of self. And that is why people end up committing suicides when their partners cheat on them, when they lose the money they have accumulated. Why? Because they became attached to the material world. And the material world is an illusion. It is passing. And that is why even the scriptures comes to the conclusion that the world is passing. It does not mean that the world is going to somewhere or there is an impending hell coming. That is not the idea. The idea that the world is passing means that the world is subject to the principle of rhythm. There is growth and there is decay. There is birth and there is death. So when you hold on to something which is impermanent, you are holding on unto the illusion. And that is why at the end, people who are holding on to the world, people who love money, people who chase money, will end up in hell. By hell, it simply means they will go back to suffering once these things are taken away from them. Hence, the quote from the Messiah that you are in the world but not of the world does not mean that we don't belong in this physical world. It does not mean that we will go to heaven physically. The term we are of the world but not of the world simply means that we are experiencing this reality at this present moment, but we should not become attached to the physical material possessions. We should have them, but we should never derive our sense of identity from these things. That is why the Messiah never owned a house, never owned any material possessions, not because he had stored up possessions in heaven. Heaven is an esoteric term for higher states of consciousness. The reason why he never possessed all these things is because he had the power to have them. And once you have the power to have things, then you no longer need to have them to prove anything to anyone. And now I believe that you are now gaining a concept and an understanding of how simply everything now works. And if you wish to learn much more about these kinds of concepts, if you wish to go deeper down the rabbit hole in these kinds of concepts, I am inviting you to enroll in our online one-on-one coaching sessions, whereby I get to take you through all these concepts in a broader and a way that you can understand them even more further. If you wish to join, my contacts are on the description of this video, and I'll see you on the next episode. Please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share this video to the rest. And I'll see you then. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay awakened.